What's up? I'm on one today. That's right. You get to a point where you say, fuck it. You just do. You're just like, the world is so stupid. And I figure Outkick hired me to give rational opinions by somebody that is unafraid, somebody that has common sense, and somebody that pays attention. I pay attention. And welcome, everybody. Hope you're here. Hope you're having a great morning. But my God, you know what I'm tired of? I'm not going to lie. And I'm tired of Roger Goodell. I'm tired of Roger Goodell and his bullshit posturing. I'm tired of Roger Goodell. We fell short in our diverse hiring. Okay, who shouldn't you have hired? I'll wait. Which of those white guys should you have not hired? One guy sends you a lawsuit, and you're all up on Twitter. Let me tell you something, Roger Goodell. If you are falling short in your most visible area, because you've made it diversity hire, your most visible area. You've made all of this your most visible thing in the NFL. This is the most visible. This is more visible than the Super Bowl. More people are going to watch the Super Bowl, maybe, but I'll bet you more people across social media have commented on your diversity. So, Roger Goodell, which white dude should not have been hired? I'll sit back and wait. A lot of people argue Lovie Smith shouldn't be hired. A lot of people maybe Dennis Allen shouldn't be hired. I don't know, but when you talk about all this, we fell short. If you fell short on your biggest platform, which is social justice, diversity, then step aside and let somebody else step in there. I mean, I don't know how this isn't clear to you. You've made this the biggest deal, and all I hear every year, we fell short. Really? Which white guy shouldn't coach? Which white guy shouldn't be an offensive or defensive coordinator? Let's get serious about it. Let's quit hiding behind the political wind blows this way, the social media blows this way, so we're going to ride the wave. Tell us, which white guy doesn't deserve the job? I'll listen. Hell, I want to hear it. But every single year I hear the same stuff. I do. I hear the same stuff. So look, you're making millions, hundreds of millions. Step aside, let a person of color, let a diverse candidate, let a woman, somebody take the job, and maybe they won't fall short. Apparently your job isn't to build the NFL into the biggest sport in the world, other than soccer. Soccer's bigger in Europe, look it up. However, you've done that. There's nothing bigger in the United States than NFL football. NFL football has rendered college basketball and the NBA second. But that isn't enough. You've made billions for a lot of people. I'm not sure there is a better entity to be involved with, whether you are an intern, whether you are the owner, whether you're a player, whether you're a manager, whether you're equipment manager. Nothing better to be involved with in the NFL, but that's not good. All we hear about is your failings in diversity. Then step aside. Let Troy Vincent be the commissioner. Let a minority be the commissioner. I'm so fucking tired of hearing Roger Goodell tell all of us how, oh my God, we failed at this. We're not diverse. Fine, then you failed. Get out. I don't know what else to tell you. You failed. Get out. Because it apparently isn't about, for him, anything other than that. That's what it is about. Period. Period. That's it. That's all we're concerned about if you're Roger Goodell. Well, if that's what you're concerned about, you failed. Let's move on from you to somebody that isn't going to fail. To somebody that isn't going to stand up there and bullshit us every year and then tell us we failed because he's the human guinea pig for the owners. Let's be honest. I mean, and then all of the superfluous stuff. I'm going to meet with Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton hadn't paid his taxes, yet he stays in the Four Seasons. But we got to meet with certain people to make it look good, while the owners collect billions. Look, if you've done a bad job at that, step your ass aside. It's that simple. Next on the Danny D agenda that's driving me nuts. I mean, we have the greatest country in the world. And there's a lot of reasons. We do. We have the greatest country. But listen, and here's why I say we have the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest country in the world because this is the shit we worry about. You ready? NPR. NPR has 8.8 million followers on Twitter. NPR is 3 times bigger in terms of people following it than the state of Nebraska. NPR, this is the shit that we worry about in our country. You ready? Here's a tweet. Some white people may choose the yellow thumb up because it feels neutral. But some academics argue opting out of the white thumbs up signals a lack of awareness about white privilege, akin to society associating whiteness with being racist. Shut the hell up. It's a fucking emoji. That's it. It's an emoji. That's the shit we worry about. And listen to this. 22,000 people responded to this. This is what we worry about. The thumb up of an emoji. We didn't even know what emoji was 5 years ago. We didn't know. Now it's some academics, have you seen these assholes? Have you seen these people, these academics, and what they say? Not necessarily seen. Have you listened to them? Have you read them? They're all full of crap. When you list the worst people in our society, nonviolent division, non-criminal division, I always put divisions. You got media, academics, the worst of the worst. But NPR, some academics argue, opting out of the white guy emoji signals a lack of awareness about white privilege. No, it doesn't. It signals, hey, which one looks like me? Akin to society associating whiteness with being raceless. The fuck is that? I'm sorry. I know I'm swearing, but I don't understand this stupidity. And I figure Outkick hired me for real talk. This is the most amazing shit ever in our this is what I don't have in front of me because I'm not smart enough to have this in front of me. I don't have in front of me how many people viewed this tweet, but thank God that people are losing their mind. One guy says, hey, I'm Iranian born, I'm a refugee, naturalized citizen. This is childishly woke. You think? You think? And then, of course, there's some crazy ass, well, you know, I use this. What? An emoji. This is the stuff we worry about in our country. Tell me it's not the greatest country ever. When this is what we worry about. More so than anything else. I'll give you another example. There's a study that actually had to find this out. We all know crime is rising. It's through the roof. It's insane in big cities. Hell, in Indy, people don't know this, but the Indianapolis per capita crime rate is higher than Chicago. Think about that. We had riots. Our idiot mayor was nowhere to be seen. There's a reason. There's a rumor. I'm not getting into it. I don't do rumors. Cops were told to stand down. The city's never recovered. Murder rate through the roof. There's actually a study that says, hey, if you increase funding to police, crime's going to go down. You think? Son of a bitch. I mean, it's insane. The stupid shit that people are worried. Wait, am I supposed to worry the rest of the day? Because I asked what one white guy shouldn't have been hired? Of course I am. Of course they'll come at me. Why? I'm the easiest target in the world. Last week, I literally put a picture of a guy. I didn't understand why people lost their minds on me. I then realized on Saturday, I did this on Friday, a picture of a guy that I wanted to honor. I put it in the replies as opposed to in my actual tweet. I was on my computer doing the show. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to honor that guy. Took a picture, I saw a picture of him, put it in the replies. Lost their mind. USA Today article on me. What the hell? The world is insane. Joe Rogan turned down $100 million from Rumble. This is the country we live in. Guys can turn down $100 million deals. Whatever you think of Joe Rogan, my thing is simply don't say the word. I don't want Joe Rogan to be canceled. I've listened to Joe Rogan. People seem to love Joe Rogan. I'm cool, but don't say the word. Because the world we live in, stringing it together like they did to Rogan is going to be huge. It's going to be done because there's all of these folks out there, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, that want you to think you are bad. Anybody with a voice is bad. I get it all the time. Check the Indy Star in me. I'll go through every article and show you. I got a voice in Indy. I'm critical. You don't argue with folks that buy ink by the barrel, but so what? You got to do what you got to do. That's it. That's all for Dan's On One today. But it's the most amazing shit I've ever seen. All right, let's get into sports, okay? Because I know that, that's what we're supposed to do. And by the way, how stupid is it? And this just, again, I'm a common sense guy, right? I'm just a common sense guy. Did you see this one? Last one. Did you see where Chris Cuomo is suing CNN for $60 million? Did you see this? Did you see that Chris Cuomo, I think they call him Fredo, brother of Andrew, he's the guy that outed Jeff Zucker at CNN, right? Jeff Zucker, CNN, having an affair, whatever, he's out. This guy Cuomo, who, by the way, the idiots in the media said Andrew Cuomo was a hero in the entire pandemic deal, gave him all kinds of awards, all the while people in nursing homes weren't taken care of under his watch. Yet our media, which is why I say they're the worst among us, made this guy out to be a hero. His brother acted completely unprofessionally, at least it's alleged, and now, of course, he's going to be litigious and sue CNN. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to get some popcorn, I'm going to watch this garbage. Seriously. It's the most amazing shit that we live in right now. Follow the science? You want to follow the science? Let's go through this. Eric Garcetti, mayor of L.A. I held my breath when taking a picture with Magic Johnson. Oh, that's science. London Breed, the spirit moved me. Really? Stacey Adams. How about this beauty? How about this wonderful human being? She's the one telling us, hey, look, we're all supposed to. Hey, you got to wear a mask. She's sitting in the middle of kids without a mask. Then when asked about it, she said, I only took my mask off when I was sitting with the kids. Pictures come out. When she's talking to the kids, she's maskless all day. She said I had to take a picture. She didn't have to take a picture. I don't care if, look, I'm the least masked guy, Stacey. But just tell us the truth. Look, I hate masks. I got to enforce it because it's what I do. It's my job. I'm trying to run, but hey, I hate them. I hate masks, but I got vaccinated and I wear a mask. How about Gavin Newsom? The mask was on my hand. Everybody in California now, as you heard Ellison Williams yesterday, got to wear a mask. Oh, the mask was on my hand. Follow the science. Mask on hand slows down COVID, according to Gavin Newsom. Lori Lightfoot, remember this? This genius needed a haircut. Hey, I'm the mayor. I don't need to wear a mask. I need a haircut. Follow the science. Lori Lightfoot, she'll give you the science. You need a haircut. Thank God I don't need a haircut. Occasional shave, but no haircut. Nancy Pelosi, I needed a haircut. Remember when she opened up the salon for her? I needed a haircut. Me too. I needed my ass shaved. And then Muriel Bowser, I had an election party. Really? I had a Super Bowl party. Follow the science, my ass. Look, I ain't mad at you. But damn, somebody in this world, and I see it coming, we need to start standing back up. I'm going to get into Goodell more. Last night, interesting night in college hoops. Rutgers, if you're a Rutgers fan, Rutgers starting to make a bit of a move, peoples. Yeah, they are. Rutgers making a move. Rutgers making a nice move. Rutgers got themselves a nice win, and I mean a nice win against Ohio State. Ohio State's a good team. Now, here's how I look at the world. You ready? I look at the world like this. I look at the world like, oh, man, what's that mean for Indiana? What that means for Indiana is Rutgers going to jump them. Last night, down goes Houston. I'm doing a game. Westwood won. Join me, will you, please? I'm doing a college basketball game. That's right. I'm back, baby. Westwood One Radio coming up on Saturday, and I am doing the Houston-Memphis game. Houston had only 2 losses. They were 6th in the country. My boy, Timmy Jankovic. Timmy Jankovic is one of my favorite coaches. He's at SMU. Timmy Jank and I played against each other in college. Timmy Jank came over to see me when I was out of coaching to talk about motion offense. He ran it for one day. I love Jank. In fact, he's going to be on my show in Indy at 2:30. Timmy Jankovic is a coach at SMU, and he, at the end of the day, came back. Down all game, down all game, down all game. SMU beat Houston. Can't wait to get to Houston. It's 2 degrees here in Indy. Houston, I don't think it's 2 degrees. Let's look at something else. The IU women. Indiana, 93-61 against the Illini. We used to call them the Biting Illini, just because. It's what we do. I got to tell you, the Fighting Illini, ladies and gentlemen, women were down like 20 at home at half. Check out IU's women's team. Fun to watch. Number 7 in the country. Don't at me. The Bulls and the Hornets. Well, all right. I didn't have time to really look this up today. All right? I didn't. But I noticed on Twitter that I didn't get crushed by every little whiny-ass Michigan State jackass fan. I noticed that I didn't get crushed because Miles Bridges must not have had a big game. Every time Miles Bridges dunks for the Hornets, I get all these little pain-in-the-ass Hornet fans. Miles Bridges has no game. When Miles Bridges was in college, instead of kissing his ass, I said, hey, he's got no game. He didn't. He was a jump shooter and a dunker. Now he might have game, but I can tell he didn't do jack shit last night. Let's see. I didn't even look. I forgot. And then I was looking for stuff to complain about today on Twitter. I found a bunch. Hey, Goodell, what are you doing? If you keep failing at the most important thing, and you have made diversity the most important thing, walk. Bridges at 22. That's good. Can't believe I didn't hear from little pains in the ass. Apparently last night, all-women crew, I'm sure it was great. The Jazz went out and whooped up on the Warriors. That's interesting to me because the Jazz are one of those teams that's starting to move some players. And when you are a team that's moving some players, usually you get your brains beat out. But the Jazz started out this game down. I actually watched some of it. Started out the game down, ended up beating the living hell out of the Warriors. I'm just saying, Goodell, if you don't want to do the job, if you're failing at the job, get the hell out of the job. Most important thing is diversity. Well, we failed at diversity. Don't do the job. Doesn't that make sense? Like if you're running a business, isn't the idea of running the business to make the business as profitable and as powerful as it possibly can? Is there anything more powerful or profitable in sports right now than the NFL? Maybe soccer is. I don't know. Golden Gloves pen. I'm ready to fight today. All right, let's see about what to watch. Let's be honest. Anything you watch this weekend is only one thing and one thing only, a setup for the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not watching all those pregame shows, but I am watching the Super Bowl. We're all watching the Super Bowl. We're going to watch some lead up to the Super Bowl. I may have to do a show on Super Bowl Sunday to tell you what the hell to do other than watch the Super Bowl. But let me tell you right now, Ohio State, Michigan in hoops. It's a good game, man. Trust me on this. It's not Ohio State, Michigan in football. Nothing is. But Ohio State going into Michigan, pretty good. I remember when my son played at Michigan, went to Ohio State, played at Ohio State. It wasn't the funnest night for the Dakich family because Michigan beat Ohio State, but it was a fun environment. Give it a watch. You'll like it. What else I got here? And this is in honor. This is in honor, ladies and gentlemen, of the lovely, the uber talented, the weary producer, Lauren. Lauren is working 2 jobs. She's got it going on in L.A. with Outkick 360. She's up early doing our show. She saw last night her beloved Seton Hall Pirates get a big win. Now, great teams cover. They didn't cover, but they won, so that's all that matters. But the truth of the matter is, the lovely, the talented, the uber talented, the stretched professionally to the, we got to give her a minute this morning. She's being pulled from both ends. Seton Hall, Villanova. Going to be a tough one, Lauren. Ain't going to be easy going into Jay Wright, a.k.a. George Clooney's house. But, Lauren, it'll be Saturday. You'll get a chance to take a nap, watch the Hall, or hopefully get a win, and it'll make your weekend. Hawks and Celtics, not going to lie. I like watching Trae Young. When Trae Young was in college, I thought Trae Young was the next Steph Curry. Guess what? He's the next Steph Curry. All right. I ain't mad about it. This is my favorite segment. I love this segment. I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad about Roger Goodell stepping down as the commissioner of the NFL. I'll say it again. If it's about making money and enhancing franchises, Roger Goodell has been a huge success. But Roger Goodell has told us the number one thing is diversity. Roger Goodell is trying so hard that one guy's lawsuit forced him to sit down with a tax evader and a bunch of other dudes and make it very public so that we all know that Roger Goodell is working hard on this issue. Then he says we've fallen short. Roger, tell me the white guys. It's like when people say this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. Then I say, who you taking out? All right? If Roger Goodell has fallen so short, who should be taken out? Who should be hired over the guy at Minnesota? I'll wait. Who hasn't been hired yet, but he's going to be. Who should be hired over Dennis Allen? You say Eric Bieniemy. He interviewed. Is the idea just to hire, or is the idea to hire the right guy? I don't know. And I'm not saying either way's right or either way's wrong. I'm sure there are a ton. I'm sure Eric Bieniemy do a good job wherever he is. But if that's your number one job, and man, you've made it your number one job, and you failed at it, give somebody of color. Give somebody that's diverse. Give somebody else the chance to make that $60 million that you're making. Would the NFL be better with a diverse commissioner? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Look, I ain't mad about Tom Brady hinting at a possible comeback. I listened yesterday on ESPN and they were talking about it, and there was a writer, I think her name was Martin. All she did was interrupt everybody. Look, if you're on a panel and you're doing TV, don't interrupt. Don't put it, oh yeah, while somebody else is talking. Just sit there, shut up, and wait your turn. I wanted to watch, but this person, this Martin, kept talking, and I'm like, shut up. But they were talking about Tom Brady coming back. Look, I love that Tom Brady knows exactly what he is doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that when he says, hey, look, you never say never. You know what Tom Brady knows? Tom Brady knows that's going to be headlines the next day, and I ain't mad about it. But I grew up in an era where Muhammad Ali retired every single day, and I couldn't wait for him to get back. Oh, man, you think Ali's retired? He can't. I mean, back in my day, boxing was huge. I could list you the top 10 heavyweights, light heavy. I mean, I was always Howard Davis. Look him up, 1976 Olympics. When Jimmy Bistro and I would go golfing at South Gleason Golf Course on 35th Avenue in Gary, if we had a weight on the tee, we would slap box in 1976 when we were in 8th grade because we loved boxing. He was Sugar Ray. I was Howard Davis. I loved Howard Davis. I digress. I ain't mad about trading James Harden for Ben Simmons. James Harden is what's the right word? A pox upon basketball. The traveling, the stepping back, the lack of interest in defense. He's changed basketball. I don't think for the better, but hey, if you're good enough to change basketball, I ain't mad at you. He has. Who did three-step backs for James Harden? Who has ever considered a, quote, great player that turned like this when a defender went right by him? James Harden. You used to have to play both ends. Now James Harden has changed the world. Trade him. It's not working in Brooklyn. He's mad. He's upset. Trade him to the Sixers for Ben Simmons. Hell yeah. Give Ben Simmons, I don't know. Give him a year. I don't know. I ain't mad about it. I think both of them, I think Ben Simmons is ridiculous. Anybody at his age that says, I don't want to play and loses 30-some million, it ain't about the, you know what it's about with Ben Simmons? It's about sulking. Doc Rivers, he didn't support me. Joel Embiid was mean to me. He mean to me. He mean to me. I don't lie. He mean to me. He's mean. That's how my son used to. Dad, he mean to me. That was when my son was a little, no, it was my daughter. Daddy, he mean to me. So anytime somebody's mean to me and sulking, that's the voice I go, because it's my daughter back in the day. He mean to me. Oh, man. And last thing I ain't mad about not going to a Super Bowl watch party. I ain't mad about it. My order of the day is going to be Portillo's. Portillo's is, I'm a encased meats guy. Portillo's is about 5 miles that way. I don't want to go to a Super Bowl party. I go to a Super Bowl party the night before, that kind of Super Bowl party where I get to stand there. Here's what you do at a Super Bowl party. You stand there, I'm looking at somebody, but you're talking to them, but you're always like this. You're trying, you're looking around. You're trying to see some B-list actor, some D-list actress, some famous rapper. You're looking, you're seeing, you're wanting to know who, some singer. Hey man, that guy's the backup singer for the OJs. Really? Hey man, that guy once, he opened for Elton John. Those are the kind of parties I go. Beyonce ain't at the party I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. But I ain't mad about not going to a Super Bowl party. No, I want to watch the game. I want to hear the game. I want to be with people that I know. Every Super Bowl party I've ever gone to is like, hey, Dan, come on over. A bunch of us are having a party. And then all of a sudden, you know who's there? Uncle Ed. And you know what Uncle Ed wants to do? Hey, Danny, how about them Hoosiers, huh? Shut up, Uncle Ed. Everyone I go to. Hey, Danny, sure miss you on ESPN. What the hell happened there? Then I got to talk to Uncle Ed. I want to talk to Uncle Ed. You know what I want to do? I want to bet my face off, and I'll get into that in a minute. I want to have encased meats, cheeses, crackers, and some kind of, I don't know, Chick-fil-A sauce on top of it. And I want to watch the damn game, and then I want to go upstairs and have a sleep. And this was back when I was in my 20s. Hell wants to go to a party where you're standing around eating little smoked sausages. Hey, Danny, Hoosiers just got beat last night. What do you think? No. Bobby Carpenter's next. I got a bunch of stuff to talk to Bobby Carpenter about, and I didn't really have it on the rundown, but one of them is he had a great segment about Hugh Jackson backing away, backing down. No surprise. We'll talk Super Bowl with Bobby Carpenter when we come back. I'm on one, people, and it ain't stopping. Tell your friends. Get over here. Let's go. I love this man, Bobby Carpenter. Great pictures on Twitter of Bobby at the daddy-daughter dance, which everybody that's got a daughter has been to the daddy-daughter dance knows it's the best. Hey, I loved your take. Hugh Jackson, all of a sudden, wait a second. I didn't, what had happened was, what Hugh Jackson? Talk to me about it.
So, all the stuff comes out. Brian Flores, Stephen Ross allegedly offering to pay him $100,000 per loss. And you look at that, okay, well, he didn't make very much money. They ended up winning a lot of games at the end of the season. He said he didn't take it. He was offended by it. Well, then all of a sudden, like this, I want to disclose this, Dan. Like, I thought Hugh Jackson was a good coach when he was in Oakland with the Raiders. Thought he got kind of a raw deal, and he did seem to do a good job in front of the media. Guys seem to respect him. So when the Browns hired him, like, okay, this is a stabilizing force. He's not somebody who's a huge screamer. He'll be able to go through this building process. He's very steady. He doesn't get the highs and lows, which, when you're in the NFL, heck, sometimes you're searching for wins. It's important to always be constant. And then his tenure there is a disaster. And not just because they weren't, really actively trying to win every game. Like, they weren't going out and spending money in free agency. They weren't doing the things you would typically do that way to build the roster immediately. They were trying to build the roster long-term. He knew that. Everybody knew it. And so when he throws out there, oh, yeah, I'm getting bonuses at the end of the year for losing this and that. And people are like, oh, really? So, like, tell us. Everybody's curious if this is something that is happening where coaches are being incentivized to lose games. I think everybody wants to know. I mean, there's a gambling element that's important, the integrity of the game when you're watching your team. Like, a lot of fans can say, hey, I don't want my team to win. And I'll say this, like, the Jacksonville Jaguars fans, they wanted their team, obviously, once it appeared they were going to be bad, they want the number one overall pick. But I guarantee you, they got a heck of a lot of utility when they also beat the Buffalo Bills. And so you'll love to see those wins and see that come. And so people pushed on Hugh Jackson. They said, well, I've got the receipts, and Andrew Berry, there's people in the front office. They all know about it. And then as time went on, Dan, all of a sudden you see him start to backpedal a little bit and like step off of the story. And then, asked directly, he's like, well, it's completely different, but there are some similarities. I'm like, well, the heck is like, how we're going to contradict ourselves right there? And the reality is, like, there were people that messaged me on social media and they started pointing out these things that the Browns had done. Like Hugh Jackson, I believe in his fourth game against the Dolphins, back when it was still sudden death, first team to score in overtime wins, regardless if it's a field goal or a touchdown, he deferred and chose to play defense first. And people pointed that out to me. They pointed out some terrible calls at end of games, some challenges. And they're like, it looks like he's not trying to win these. I'm like, I wish that was the case, but I honestly think he thought he was smarter than everybody else and trying to outthink the room. So he had no real evidence with it. He couldn't really, corroborate any of that. There was no one else in the front office who was willing to go along with it because the reality was, it didn't happen. And despite the fact that they weren't actually trying, to go make the playoffs that year, he could have proven that he was a competent coach and would have survived through that rebuild. But the reality, Dan, is he wasn't able to do that. And now he is doing everything he can, to be like water off a duck's back, man. He's trying to deflect and avoid. He wants nothing. The Teflon Don doesn't want any of that to stick to him. And the reality is he's not getting another NFL job. And I think that's kind of what he's lobbying for is, that wasn't all my fault, but you can't deny the results and what ultimately happened.
Bobby, I feel like Hugh stepped in it thinking he was helping Brian Flores, and then all of a sudden somebody said, Hugh, this would be fixing games. And you would be the fixer. And Hugh, that comes with jail time, heavy fines, public humiliation, Hugh. Oh, whoa. That's no. That's how I read it, Bobby. Well, I thought it was.
And you're probably right in saying that is once that there was, because I don't think he fully probably considered the gravity of his actions. I mean, fixing games, whether it's an official, whether it's a player, or whether it's a coach, I mean, that is a federal offense. That is a crime. You would be doing jail time, and they're going to start digging in. And if you did take money and they could prove it, well, then, man, you're in the whole heap of it right now. And so you're probably right in that. As soon as he realized, like, oh, wait a second, like that's against the law, not just bad for my owner asking me. Yeah. Then you start winding that story back quick, fast, and in a hurry.
You know, your comment, it's interesting. What I just thought, a friend of mine was on a basketball coaching staff at Northwestern. And it came out that they fixed games, not the coaches, the players. This was a scandal mid to early 90s. Well, a guy that I recruited at Indiana was on that coaching staff. And he said when they went back and looked at the games that the feds told them were fixed, you could see it. Hugh Jackson doesn't want somebody going back and looking about that game against Green Bay when he deferred. He doesn't want somebody looking at the coaching decisions that he made that you're talking about. You know, it's best that you shut up always, but when it comes down to the feds, always shut up. Don't jump into something like that ever. Never. Under no circumstances, Bobby. None.
When we're talking about things that are illegal, that carry jail time, you know, I mean, I watched enough Law and Orders in my life. You know, the right to remain silent. I mean, it's a fantastic right that we have in the United States. But some people, you know, they're explainers, Dan. You know this, you coached. There's guys who want to try to explain everything instead of saying, hey, it's a bad decision by me. You know what? I shouldn't have done that. And like, that's the end of it. Instead of, well, it's this, it was that. Like, Hugh's an explainer. He always has an answer or a reason for everything. And those are the best type of people to interrogate because they're going to probably ultimately give you everything. And like you said, someone probably ultimately is like, Hugh, this isn't going to go well for you. And it's not going to go well for the league. So you better shut this thing down right now.
Yeah, no question about it. This class action lawsuit, you got to get to 40, I was told by an attorney. We'll see. All right, let's talk about the football game, Bobby. What is the scenario for each team to win? Let's start with the Bengals. What do you see having to happen for the Bengals to get this done?
Well, if you look at the defensive line that they're going to be facing, it's good. I mean, they've got Leonard Floyd. They're going up against Aaron Donald, Von Miller. I mean, all those guys are 9+ sack guys during the regular season. They all have at least a sack and a half, I believe. Aaron Donald has 2 in the regular season, or the postseason. So these guys, they've been playing really good football for a long time. And so as I looked at this, Cincinnati gave up 51 sacks in the regular season. You look at the playoffs, a couple sacks against Oakland, 9 against Tennessee, and then, you know, just 1 against the Chiefs. And the reason why they were able to get bailed out against Tennessee is Ryan Tannehill threw his 3 interceptions and their offense wasn't great. And so if you're playing a team like the Rams who can score the football, who can run it, they can throw it, they've got a lot of weapons, a lot of options. You know, the number I looked at was kind of 3.5. The Bengals this year, when they gave up 5 sacks or more, they're 1-4 in the regular season. They cannot be getting close to that. The Rams are too good. So I think if they can stay 3 sacks or less, keep Joe Burrow upright, and that's going to go in a multitude of things. It's Joe Burrow getting rid of the football. It's getting the running game going, throwing some play action on first down, running the ball on second down, offensive line, Jonah Williams, Isaiah Prince on the edges doing good, doing well against their edge rushers, finding a way inside with their guard tackle or guard center guard to be able to handle Aaron Donald. It's not a one-man show. It's going to have to be double teams just about every play. And then ultimately Zach Taylor mixing it up. Like I said, pass the ball on first down, run on second, get some screens, get some things going. And so a 3.5 sack number for me is kind of a magic number for Cincinnati. And then if you look at the Rams on the other side with Matt Stafford and what he's able to do, I think, you know, maybe the number right there is maybe 1.5 interceptions. If there's going to be some mistakes, there's going to be some turnovers that happen in this game. There generally are. As long as Matt doesn't have a game where he throws multiple picks, I think that they've got a really good shot of winning. They've got Cooper Kupp. They've got Odell Beckham Jr. They have the weapons. Akers will be running the ball well. They should be pretty healthy. And they've been playing really good football, and they've come from behind. You feel like they have that confidence about them. And, Dan, everybody always likes to look at these teams because you look at the offenses for both of them. Elite receivers all over the place, and they've been scoring a ton of points. But if you look historically, especially recently, first halves have been very, very slow. And both teams come out, coaches come out. No one wants to make the critical error early in the game that will ultimately cost them. You want to just be having a chance to play for it heading into the fourth. And so that's why you see the over-under total sitting there at about 48.5, 49 on FanDuel. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense why it would be there. A lot of people think that thing's going to blow the over. I think it'll be slightly, but, you know, I'm looking at this thing more Dan, 27-24. I like Cincinnati just simply because if you look at Joe Burrow's history and gotta have it games, he's a big time player, man. He is a big time player. He stands there, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected. And the quarterback of an NFL team, and really any team now at this point, because there's so much that's pushed on them responsibility wise, they're like the dog walker. And you ever see someone walking, they're nervous, they get around people, you can feel that anxiety. The dog can feel the anxiety. That dog, Dan, is the rest of the team. And so Joe Burrow, with how calm he is, they're down 18 points. He knows there's no 19-point play. Let's go out. Let's get a positive play on first down. Let's get a first down. Let's start stacking first downs. All of a sudden you get in the red zone, you get a touchdown. Well, now we're in business, and your defense feels good about it. Your offense knows you're not in panic mode. And I think that'll ultimately end up being the difference in this game.
Well, let me go to the rest of the team. How big are nerves in this game? And I'm not just talking about Burrow. Is it as simple as, you know what, once you take the first hit, you're into the game, forget about it? Or how big
I think you probably settle in a couple minutes into the game, whether it's a play, 2 plays, whatever it is for a quarterback, probably getting that first pass. Most defensive players, like, they have to feel their pads pop, offensive linemen, maybe receiver, it's that first catch. But your emotions and your anxiety are running so high. And when you're playing a one-off, this is the only, major professional sport in the United States where it's a one-off situation where it's winner take all, one game. And so it's not like you can settle in like, all right, we'll collect, we'll regroup, we can come back in game 2. It's the same as college basketball. You go through the tournament, like you've got to win. And so people, you feel like they kind of press at the beginning. And so I do think the fact that Zach Taylor and McVay, they've got experience here, from the Rams back when they made it 5 years ago. You feel like that's a little bit of a bonus. Pretty young team for Cincinnati, but Joe Burrow, he's played in the national championship. He played huge in it. Jamar Chase similarly. And I think when you have leaders that have been there that can talk about those experiences, they understand that this is the biggest moment for all of these guys. But you settle in 2 or 3 minutes into the game, and then you start feeling good about everything.
Bobby, the over-under you mentioned, most people feel it's going over, but there are some that feel the pass rush is going to be too much for Cincinnati. I know this. I know Joe Burrow got out of it. So you think the over is going to hit?
I do.
What would you make the over-under?
I would probably sit the over-under. 48.5 is pretty low. I would probably set it more 58.
I was going to go 50. I was going to go 51 and a half.
I feel like this thing's going to probably be in the high 20s. I don't know if they'll crack 30, but that's what I'm saying. Like 28, 20, 24, 27, 24 kind of feels like about right, because going into halftime, I honestly feel like it'll be maybe a 13-7, maybe like a 10-7 game. Look at the last time the Rams were there against the Patriots. I mean, people called it a boring game because I think there's just one touchdown scored, a couple of field goals by the Pats and one by the Rams. And I think it's just a situation like that where, if you get a lead, no one's going to want to try to drop back a lot, especially, Cincinnati, unless they really have to against that really talented front for the Rams.
Can you see, you said this earlier, and I want to circle back to it. You get out there and it's like a boxer. We're boxing, we're feeling each other out. You had mentioned that earlier. Can you see either one of these coaches in the first possession or two, offensively saying, screw this? Like, we're going to open this up. We're starting opening this up. We're going to open this up. I don't give a damn about, Can you see either one of these coaches or either one of these teams doing it? And if you can, which one?
To tell you the truth, I honestly could see probably both of them doing it. Now, when I say open it up, like not just throwing it all over the place, but having like one play. If they get a good play on first down, or maybe first play of the game, opening up with something that might be a 30 to 40 play chunk play over the top. Yard chunk play over the top. And that's because you know this usually when teams come out opening play, and this is why everybody self-scouts. You call it P and 10. It's first play of a drive. And then you have game opening stuff, and they study all this. Very few teams, Dan, blitz on the first play of the game defensively. And so if there's a time to take a shot, to run play action, to max it up, to keep 7 or 8 guys in, and just have 2 guys down the field, you're usually going to get base coverages. Defenders, like, they're half anxious. Their rear ends are about this big. Like they're looking around. All of a sudden, you get a guy with speed running right down the middle of your face. It's just a matter of, can the quarterback, for his first throw of the game, put that thing on the money? And if you're a receiver, your first catch of the game, that ball probably feels like it's hanging up there for 20 seconds. Can you ultimately pull it in? And no one wants to waste a play, but it wouldn't shock me, because I think being from the same coaching tree, as you know, being in coaching, like guys have similar philosophies and thoughts on things and stuff that they like and work. And I could see both of these guys, first play or two, boom, shot over the top, see if we can steal some points and then play from ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can too. How do you block Aaron Donald?
Like with two or three guys. I mean, I've never seen an athlete quite like him. And when he came out, he's undersized, and people are like, you'll be able to wear him down through the course of a game. You get a couple bodies on him, run right at him, grind on him. But he is a physical specimen. The guy is a relentless trainer. Like if you watch him and look at him, he's the leanest 300-pounder you're ever going to find. He moves like someone that's about 245, 250. The explosion, the power that he has. The one thing that he can get in trouble with is he's so aggressive. As a linebacker, he's going to get and put himself in some bad spots because he'll get up the field so quickly. Sometimes he'll get behind blocks and then an extra gap opens up. So as a linebacker behind him, you have to ultimately try to play off of that and make sure the coaches call it making him right. Let him go do his thing, because he's going to give us 2 or 3 tackles for loss. There might be a play where all of a sudden you're supposed to be here. Well, he goes there, and then you got to jump back across. And it makes it tough for a linebacker, but you're also getting a guy who's eating up double teams and attracting a lot of attention. And so the run scheme that they like to run, both of these coaches, it's the Kyle Shanahan stretch zone. It kind of plays in, to being able to run against Aaron Donald, because you're always zoning him. If he backdoors one and doesn't get back there and make the play, then all of a sudden you can pick up, 8 to 10 yards in a chunk. And so that's why San Francisco has had a lot of success, in my opinion, against the Rams. And they finally were able to kind of slay that dragon here, lastly. But I'm curious to see if Aaron Donald, if he gets over aggressive, Dan, trying to make too many plays, trying to win this thing because he knows how important it is, that you might be able to take advantage of that.
Let's get some hot takes. Here's number one. Cooper Kupp's going to be held under 50 yards receiving. Is that even possible?
Not 50 yards. If you would have said 75, maybe, but I mean, that's like 3 catches. Right. He'll get that.
Yeah, I thought so too. There will be a 100-yard rusher in this game. Somebody will run for 100 yards.
I'm going to say no on that one. Both of these guys, I think, will be close, but with how well they throw the football, I think both of the rushers will probably come in 75 to 90 yards. I don't think either one of them crack it.
Do you have any explanation why the run game hasn't been that big of a deal in this? I think Mixon got to 80 yards or maybe 90 last time. He's the only guy over 70. Nobody's ran the ball for 100 yards in the entire playoffs.
Because I think you look at the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs and how efficient they are and the way the rules have changed, that Dan, you can flip it out there now on a slant and get 8 yards. And it used to be, you'd complete that 55% of the time. Now those guys are completing it 75% of the time. And so when you start looking at the numbers, it's like taking 3s versus 2s in basketball. Like, hey, we'll throw it out there. An 8-yard gain 70% of the time is better than a 3-yard gain, 45, 50% of the time. And so I think just how accurate the quarterbacks are, the timing, all of those things, that you run the ball now as a changeup as opposed to trying to establish dominance.
When did that start?
I think a lot of it started happening with the proliferation of the West Coast offense. And Bill Walsh kind of started that. And you know what? We'll use the short range passing and timing passing game as an extension of the run game. We'll flip the ball to the running back on his way to the flat. He catches it at 2 yards. He turns up. He gets 4 more. All of a sudden, it's 2nd and 4. Like, we don't need to beat our head against the wall trying to run inside when these teams are loaded up and trying to stop us. And so I think that's where it started. And as you have seen, the evolution, rules begin to change. It's tougher to get your hands on receivers. You can't hit quarterbacks as much. Everybody plays 7-on-7 now. You're much better throwing the football. Like, you go back and look at Terry Bradshaw's completion percentage. Then you look at Troy Aikman's, and then you start looking at guys, like, Romo and even Favre. and then early Aaron Rodgers into where people are now. I mean, crossing the 65% threshold was good. Now those guys are up near 70 sometimes. And so I think it's just been this gradual creep of the way we play offense and how good the short range passing game is.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. You already said 3.5. I asked you, will we have an over 5 sacks for the Rams?
Oh goodness. I'm trying to watch this thing, how it plays out. If the Rams get a lead, I think it'll be tough. But with how well Cincinnati played against the Chiefs, they've got some good rushers up there. They got Chris Jones, they've got Ingram. Spags will bring pressure. They played really well. Joe Burrow got the ball, and I think Zach Taylor called a good game. I'm going to take the under 5 sacks for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I am too. 9 sacks against the Titans. That's kind of I don't know. I mean, that's a little bit of an outlier. Burrow will outthrow in terms of yards Stafford.
That's a good one. I'm going to say no. I think he'll be more efficient, but Matt's got a gun. I think they'll push the ball down the field a little bit more. But I think Stafford probably gets him with total yardage.
Does he throw it as well as anybody? I mean, I look at that guy and I'm like, that dude slings it, man.
He's got an arm. Like, everyone likes to talk about Mahomes. I think Rodgers still probably has the best with how he can do it and jump tossing and all this stuff. You look at guys who are able to make those off-platform throws and do it really routinely. Matt was able to do that for years in Detroit. He can sidearm it, throw it over the top, and he's got a gun. Man, I remember the first time I saw him in practice and I saw that ball come out. I'm like, holy smokes. I mean, this guy could throw that thing through a window. Just explode it. So I've seen it. I know how hard he can throw the football. I mean, he checks all the boxes with the physical traits and abilities, especially with the arm strength.
Kicker will decide this, Bobby Carpenter, yes or no?
You heard me talking about 27-24, and if that's the case, that means you're going to be trotting kickers out there. Cincinnati's, I mean, he's a confident bird. Rams, I think both of them have pretty solid kickers. I don't know if it's a final kick to end the game, but I think that the kicking game will have a major impact and will play a huge role in deciding this thing.
I've always said it was hard enough being the dad of a player in this day and age because, your kid screws up a game at Ohio State or at Michigan and now social media kills you. I do not want to be ever the parent or the grandparent or the great-grandparent of a kicker. I would be crapping myself if my son had to go out there like Scott Norwood back in the day or Vinatieri, man. I think that would be the absolute worst. I do. And then he made it, and then it's great. But, God dang, in this game, for the win, Bobby, that ain't, ooh. That ain't for the
believe me,
faint of
it's,
heart.
I always say it's the greatest job to have until it's not. Because you don't have to do anything the whole time. But when you're called upon, I mean, you're basically taking the entire 60 minutes of a game and concentrating it down into the 3 or 4 seconds that everybody's going to be looking at your job. And so while, everybody during training camp loathes the kicker when you're out there sweating and you're tired and you're sore and you look at these guys and they're kicking around, playing grab ass, and we sit there like, it'd be great to be them. And I'm like, it would be. But when we make a mistake, you miss a tackle, it's like 4 or 5 yards. You miss a ball, it's an incompletion. Something happens.
I screwed
this up, If he misses a kick at the end of the game,
what did I do?
Everybody's looking at him, and that thing's going to be replayed on television.
I didn't want to hear
loop
it
for the next 48 hours until ultimately you get some other news or you get a chance to redeem yourself the next week.
That's a first for me. Let me in. I
think I lost you right there on some sound,
no.
man. I can't hear you as you're looking in your phone.
I'm not sure what to do. Oh.
Yes,
Bobby.
sir.
I screwed that up. My dog started barking at the screen, so I just got rid of stuff. I apologize. The kicker, baby. Hey, can I ask you one last thing before you go? A kicker misses a kick. And now he's in the locker room. You got guys like you that are getting the hell knocked out of you all game. I mean, it's how do you view the kicker that misses an easy kick that costs you a game in the locker room?
Well, I guess it depends on how easy. I mean, we've like boiled this thing down to like making 45 yarders. That sounds like people are like, oh, it should be 100%. You're going to miss some occasionally. Like that's just the reality of it. And I guess it really comes down to the guy. Dan, if the guy's a slap who's out there, who's laughing about it, most of the kickers like to be seen and not heard. They're around it. They understand their role and like, hey, they know that their practices aren't as difficult. They know that everything else isn't slighted. So no one wants to hear them complain. And usually, unless the guy has a habit about it or is running his mouth all the time, you're going to pick that guy up. It's no different than someone missing a free throw at the end of the game. I mean, nobody had played a perfect game. There's never been a player who has played the perfect game. And so you understand that their mistake, even though while it's like small in sample size, it gets blown up and blown out of proportion. So as long as the guy is not just a grade A jerk, you look at that guy and like, hey man, like we get it. You didn't lose it. We should have put you in that situation where it was all ultimately falling on you.
It's a very mature attitude, Bobby. It's very, very, very mature. My high school, one of my best friends missed 2 free throws, no time on the clock, cost us a state championship in Indiana. He's a good friend, but it took a while.
Let me ask you this, though, Dan. Was he somebody who you felt like could have practiced free throws more?
No. And, it's funny you say that because again, literally, there's no class system. There's 18,000 people. He's up there, nobody on the free throw line. We're down 1. He got fouled. He missed them both. And we didn't even think about that. We thought about, Bobby? This is our good friend. Let's hug him. Let's go play baseball. Let's we would go to his house because in Indiana, you had to get 10 baseball practices. So we would practice in the morning. And we didn't have school. We were on spring break. Go to his house in the afternoon, hang out, and practice at night. By Wednesday, he was getting letters from like Woody Hayes, Bob Knight, Digger Phelps, GK, nuns and priests. And we would, he was our friend, So, but it doesn't mean we don't make fun of him. Even now, when he misses a putt, we're like, just like 1980, man. Just like 1980,
believe me, I get
bro.
it. And that's 100%. If you care about the guy and you know he's all in, the only time I'd ever have a problem with it, like I said, if the guy's a jerk and you feel like they're lazy and they're not doing everything that they could, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, it finally came back to bite you now, and now you probably wish you'd been working as hard as everybody else. But generally, like overwhelmingly, that's never the case. It's a guy you love, you care about, and you know that they feel 10 times worse than you're ever going to feel about it.
Yeah, they got to carry it. They got to carry it. Bobby, thanks, man. Have a great Super Bowl. Can't thank you enough for coming on.
My pleasure, Dan. Look forward to seeing you.
He's the best. It's Carp's Corner, man. Give it a watch right here on the Outkick Network of Greatness. I got a big show for you this last hour. I got a guy named Chris Beals. Chris Beals coming up is, well, you're going to like it. It's the intersection of sports and weed. It's called Weed Maps. Kevin Durant's involved. Go tell your friends. I've got a couple things. One, there's an NBA great. I guess he's a great. That needs to sack the hell up. I got some fades coming up. We're going to get into a lot of stuff right here. I didn't have plastic surgery. The guys on YouTube are saying I had plastic surgery. That's why I'm wearing glasses. My eyes look a little jacked. Maybe I've been into the weed. I don't know. I didn't have no plastic surgery. What are you talking about? We'll be right back. I look cooler with shades. Hey, welcome back. That was awesome with Bobby Carpenter. Let's get into some things that I think we all need to get into. First is this, man. None of us are owed nothing. Everything is owed based on your performance now. Sack the F up right now, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook may be traded from the Lakers. Russell Westbrook shooting like 39% for the Lakers. Like, I got to tell you, Russell Westbrook is making my ass tired. Russell Westbrook, let's go. Let me explain this to you. When you are a coach, you want to win. When you are a high school coach and maybe a college coach, you want to win and develop players. That's what you want to do. When you're an NBA coach, you got one job, two jobs actually. Don't piss off the star and win. Now, Pat Riley, when he went to the Lakers, has famously said, I need two people on my side and two only. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. That's it. That's all. Everybody else will fall in line with them. Russell Westbrook, at one point in his career, was a guy that you had to pay attention to. He was a guy that you had to say in, I don't know, OKC, hey, look, you're one of our stars. I got to get along with you. He ain't that guy no more. He's just not. He's a turnover machine. He's a guy that can't shoot. He goes 100 miles an hour. His defense is overrated, and he doesn't fit in with LeBron. So what does Frank Vogel, the coach of the Lakers, do? Takes him out at the end of the game. Hell, didn't even play him in the fourth quarter the other night. You know why? Because Frank Vogel wants to win a freaking game. That's what he wants to do. He's interested in one thing, winning the game. And Russell Westbrook does not fit into that. But what's Russell Westbrook saying? I'm quoting here. I've earned the right to close out games. No, you didn't. You don't earn the right because of what you did 2 years ago or a year ago or 5 years ago. You earn the right every single day. That's what you do. You do not earn the right because 6 years ago, while I was with OKC, I was the closer, or 2 years. No. So sack the hell up, Russell Westbrook, instead of bitching, whining, and moaning. And I get it. You're embarrassed. You're trying to talk your way Hugh Jackson style out of it. But instead of bitching, whining, and moaning, do yourself a favor. Figure it out on the court. Figure it out in the film session. Figure it out via whatever means you have to figure it out. But don't try to figure out in the media. Here's the deal. Last thing, and then I'll move along. Here's the deal. When you're Russell Westbrook, you got a bunch of dudes around you that are telling you you are right, and you are right all the time. Man, you're right. No, he's right. Hey, look, when you're right, you're right. Russell Westbrook, you're right. No, but you're not right. You know why you're not right? Because have you heard LeBron really defend Russell Westbrook? Have you heard AD really defend Russell Westbrook? I don't think you have. I mean, I'm looking at it. I don't think you have. Let me see. Let me scroll through Twitter. Let me go wherever. I don't think we've seen anybody at all. I don't think so. So the question becomes, what are you going to do about it? And it's as simple as that. Sack the hell up. All right. I'm not sure I care about this. I kind of do. I kind of don't. Because I'm kind of like, you know what? Let's get some, I don't know. Let's get some accountability. You know, we all want to kiss the ass of 18 to 24, 18 to 24-year-olds. We all got to kiss their ass. I'm not into it. The Horizon League has blocked University of Illinois Chicago from their conference tournament because they're moving to another league. I like the coach at UIC. I like UIC. Used to play against them. I know the history. I know where it is. I like the Horizon League too, but I got to tell you, you're leaving our league? Means you're not really in our league? which means I don't want you from our league representing us in the NCAA tournament. That's the purpose behind this. That's what it really is. Hey, look, UIC, you ain't about us. We get one bid to the NCAA tournament. One. That's it. I'm looking out for the greater good if I'm the Horizon League, and the greater good are teams that are in our league. That's it. So I understand it. I also understand, what do we do on this show? The political wind is blowing this way, which means I must say this is unfair to these kids. Might be. Might be. They had the option to leave. I don't think this was just a decision that nobody knew about until just now. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. To me, that ain't even near the case. The case is you're not a part of us. We get one bid. We want that bid to go to teams that are going to represent us in the future. Now, you come back to that by saying, hey, wait a second here. We're in the league. You're letting us play. All of a sudden, I get that too. It's a bad look, but you know what? When you look like this, do you really care about look? Bad look is for the kids. Bad look is for people that need to check the political wind. Screw the political wind. If that's the way the membership of the Horizon League feels, to hell with it. Do it. I know I'm wrong. I know. Dakich, you don't like players. I love players. Players are great. I was a player. But I'm also a common sense guy. Common sense tells me I don't give a shit whether or not Horizon League lets them in or lets them out. But the truth is, gun to head, if I had to say something, I'd say keep their ass out. Let somebody that is going to represent your league get the one bid. It ain't the fairest thing. It ain't the fairest thing either way. But look, you make a decision, Horizon League, you stick with it. Yeah, for about 4 or 5 days, people get mad, and then they'll get on to something else. All right, here's some fades for you. I talked about some of these yesterday. Look, here's the deal. Everybody, you got to make I'm going to give you a golf bet, too, that I got from Ryan Burr. But people, here's the deal. You got to do this. You got to take my word on this. When Brent Musburger says both quarterbacks are going to throw an interception, guess what? Both quarterbacks are going to throw a damn interception. It's what they're going to do. I'm telling you it's what they're going to do. It's what they're going to do. So take my word for this. Take my word for this. Both quarterbacks are going to throw an interception, and you know what this is? Do you hear it? That means your toes are going to be tapping, baby, which means we're making some green, which means we're making some money. I'm going to slip some bets in here on the Waste Management Open, which is the best open of all the opens. It's the greatest open. Real quick, K.H. Lee to finish in the, hold on now, top 20. Remember I told you this, K.H. Lee in the Waste Management Open to finish in the top 20. Let me go back to the ones that we actually have graphics for. Stafford, more yards than Burrow. Now, somebody says to me, well, you know, Burrow's going to be losing, so he's going to have to throw the football. Could be. Could be. And it makes sense. Look, there isn't anything you're going to tell me about this game that doesn't make sense. I'm going to say yes. Hey, Dan, guess what? The Rams are going to get 8 sacks on Burrow. That makes sense. Hey, Dan, guess what? Burrow's going to run for 30 yards. That makes sense. Here's the numbers. All right? The over-under for Joe Burrow is 273.5. The over-under for Matt Stafford is 281.5. That's the over-under for both. So Vegas is telling you what I'm telling you. When you can find on your favorite app, FanDuel, whatever it is, do yourself a favor and take the bet Stafford throwing 4 more yards than Joe Burrow. Just trust me on this one. I could see Stafford. Now, again, I asked Bobby about this. I could see Stafford coming out and throwing it all over the yard. I can. I can see Burrow missing a play. I can. I can see Burrow missing a play or two. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to get into a bunch here. We've got graphics for 4 of them. Next one, I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to give the 4. I think this ends up one of those 31-21, something like that games. I kind of do. I think the Rams, I think this sets up for a pass rush. I think the Rams got a little bit lucky in they saw Joe Burrow last week run for 4 first downs on 3rd down. Now, that's not lucky for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it does put on the forefront of everybody defensively, whether it is the coordinator, the line coach, the secondary. Hey, look, we're going to rush the quarterback. We've got the guys to do this, but we're also going to understand what Burrow's going to do. He's going to run particularly up the middle. I think the scouting element is very interesting. And I think keeping Joe Burrow for running for first downs is massive in this game. I mean massive, humongous in this game. And I think the Rams are going to do it. I think the Rams are going to win the game by more than 4. I would love it to go down to 3. I'm not making the bet until game day. Why? Look, this is not what you're supposed to say. And I'm sure I'll, in my own way, catch hell for this. But let's be honest. 1, nobody's getting COVID before this game. 2, though, arrested before the game. I always wait. Injury, arrests. In our world here in Indianapolis, it's like every Thursday somebody pops up on the freaking injury report that you had no idea was even hurt. Oh, man, they're out for the year. They tore an ACL in practice. And you're like, what? So I'm going to wait on this line. And let's be honest, it's the Super Bowl. We saw Alvin Kamara get to play in the Pro Bowl, but he had been arrested from the night before. Or he had been investigated from the night before. I'm telling you, when it comes to these games, the Super Bowls, Final Four, you name it, I'm waiting. Now, COVID, it's a COVID miracle. Nobody's getting COVID anymore because they decided, well, we don't need to test. That's fine. I'm cool with all of it. Hell, I've had COVID. Hell, I think COVID's real. I know COVID's real. Hell, I've had a couple friends die from COVID. But the truth of the matter is they stopped. They stopped testing. Side note, not going to be on a graphic, first drive field goal. I'm in on it. I am taking that. I'm taking it today. I'm taking it tomorrow. And I'm taking it the next day. That's a DoorDash shades on kind of bet. That bet makes your whole day because it's plus 450. If you bet $100 on it, you get $450 back. First drive. Hey, look, tails never fails. I'm taking that one too. First drive, field goal, tails, toes are tapping. We're going to Sizzler. We're going to, never mind. Joe Mixon over 62 yards. I'm all in on this. I'm sorry, but I'm all in on this. Joe Mixon to me is the kind of guy that can go 62 anytime he touches it. Joe Mixon to me needs one big carry, and we're going to get over 62 yards. For whatever the reason, and I'll tell you the reason, I have been told by people that I trust in the NFL that you're going to see a run game out of the Bengals. Who the hell knows, right? Game sometimes dictates it, but I got Von Miller, I got Aaron Donald, I got Floyd, I got all these guys that are just chomping at the bit to go knock the living hell out of my man Joey B. Look, understand this. They're watching Joe Namath on ESPN doing homage to Joe's. They're tired of Joe Cool. They're tired of seeing this guy smoking stogies. These are men. Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Floyd. These are men. These are no joke men. They want to knock Joe Burrow in the mouth and then stand on him and squash him even more. So what do you do to slow that down a little bit? You run the football. and you give the ball to Joe Mixon. That's my opinion. Now, let me give you a couple more because I want us on Monday, when Urban's in here, I'm going to be smoking a stogie only if I win $1,000 or more this weekend. If I win a K this weekend, I will open the show Burrow style. Hell, it's my house. I can smoke in my damn house. But that's the goal for this weekend. Win 1,000. How am I going to do it? I'm going to do it on some of the things that I'm giving you. I'll tell you how else I'm going to do it. You ready for a few? I'll just give you a couple. I gave you one. K.H. Lee. K.H. Lee, I put $50 down. He finishes in the top 20. I get $225. That's almost what? That's 22.5% to get to frickin' 1,000 and a stogie. Next, here's a good one. These are all from my guy, Ryan Burr. Aaron Wise. Aaron Wise, top 20 finish. I put 50, win 170. What? All of a sudden, we're at 390. Let's just say 400. Last one, Johnny Rahm. Johnny Rahm wins. Johnny Rahm is the best golfer on this TPC course in the history of this TPC course. If Johnny Rahm wins, that's another 350. That's a tough bet. If Johnny Rahm, now listen to this, if Johnny Rahm comes in top 5, that's another 125. Johnny Rahm, top frickin', these are all $50 bets. Johnny Rahm, top 10, we'll just take a cool 90 for that. I'm giving you John Rahm, take him to finish in the top 10, take him to finish in the top 5, take him to win. Your toes are going to be tapping from one of them. Aaron Wise. I don't know. I couldn't pick Aaron Wise out of a lineup. Like if they lined up a bunch of dudes and they all wore golf shirts and green pants and white shoes with white belts and had a hat on it that said, I don't know, Wells Fargo, I couldn't pick Aaron Wise out. But you know what? I trust my friend Ryan Burr. And if Ryan Burr hits on these, we're going to have him on Monday. I'm taking Aaron Wise, top 20. I don't know who K.H. Lee is. I have no idea. But Ryan Burr told me, top 20. Last night, I hit a sassy little parlay just for the Sam hell of it. An over 138.5 on Georgetown DePaul and an over 129.5 on Minnesota and Nebraska. Lauren, your team screwed me. Let me go through a couple more because I got a few minutes here, okay? There's a couple basketball excuse me. There's a couple basketball games that I'd like you to take a look at tonight. It's a bad slate of hoops, really, tonight. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Maryland plus 3.5 at home against Iowa. I'm taking Iowa, and you know what I'm doing? I'm moving that to 3. The hook shall not set you free. Iowa can score it. Maryland's a mess. I did tell you yesterday, did I not, to take Nebraska. They did win. This is one of those kind of games. Maryland hadn't hit rock bottom. Maryland stinks. Iowa isn't great. They got hurt by guys leaving. Our friend Jordan Bohannon, he of the mouth, has really struggled without Garza. However, I'm going to take Iowa in this. Another game that I like, Evansville is plus 4 against Indiana State. Indiana State is minus 4. Take the Sycamores of Larry Bird. Give the 4 points. It's kind of a rival. Like in Indiana, on this side, you've got Gary, Terre Haute, Evansville. On this side, you got basically Fort Wayne, Indy, Louisville, although Louisville's in Kentucky. It's a little bit of a rivalry, but Evansville, man, they stink. And if you just want to play, because this seems to be a winner every single time, take IPFW, give the 19.5 against IUPUI. IUPUI the other day, I want you to listen to this. IUPUI the other day put out an ad. I'm going to say it again. Put out an ad for students to come be on the basketball team. IUPUI has a coach that's going to have success. He will, just not this year. There's not a chance in holy hell. And 20, while it seems like a lot, 20 ain't that much. It just isn't. Trust me on this. You got to win by 20. And look, I don't care if it's IUPUI, the Super Bowl, Matt Stafford against Burrow. You know what? The money's all the same. The money spends. What do you want me to tell you? Like, well, you know, Dakich, it's Super Bowl weekend and you're giving us all these damn picks. Yeah, because you know what? When you go to the market and you say to yourself, hey, I want to buy that. Okay, it's $200. Here's $200. Do they ask you, hey, where'd you get that money? Well, you got money. What do you get? Gambling. They ask you what you gamble on, right? Okay, and you tell them. It don't matter. You know why? Because money on IPFW or money on the Super Bowl, it all spins. There is something, there are a couple of things that I do like. Now listen to this one. Plus 600. I'm sorry, plus 500. Matt Stafford to throw for 290 yards, and Odell Beckham scores a touchdown. I ain't mad at that one. The other one, Bengals to win, Joe Burrow to throw for 260 yards, and Jamar Chase scores a touchdown. That's plus 600. I don't know. I like things like that. I think the Super Bowl is really the only game where I lose my mind. Listen to this. Any two players score a touchdown. Where are you at with this? Cooper Kupp, Joe Mixon, Cam Akers. I wouldn't bet that. I wouldn't bet that. Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham. Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham, Trey Higgins. Bingo. That's the one I'm betting. And yes, I'm wearing orange because I am rooting for Joey Ballgame, but I think I am betting on the Rams. All right, a lot of talk about weed, cannabis in sports. Weed Maps, the CEO, the main man, Chris Beals, is going to join us next. We're talking about all kinds of things. If you are a cannabis guy, if you are into cannabis stocks, if you are into whatever, you want this next segment. Hell, nobody's watching us anyway, so we might as well talk about weed. You guys that are on the YouTube chat, can't thank you all enough for being here. We got a couple hundred on there. We got a monster going on. We got to get the word out. Hey, YouTubers, on Monday, I need all of you to tweet out that we're on. We got to bump this up. Yeah, I know, Jennifer. I know. Evansville won a game last week, but I'm taking Indiana State. The Sycamores over the Aces. Hey, stay right here. Chris Beals, you're going to like this. Chris Beals and Weed Maps. It's going to be a good conversation. Join us. Stay right here. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being on YouTube. Thanks for being on Twitter. Super Bowl weekend. It's the biggest advertising weekend of the entire year. And we got an interesting guest for you. His name is Chris Beals. He's the CEO of Weed Maps. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining the show, number one. Number two, explain to people what Weed Maps is.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So Weed Maps is the largest marketplace for legal cannabis. We do a bunch of other things too, software related, but for most people, the way they know us is if you're in a state that has legal cannabis, we are the way you find, shop for, learn about cannabis.
Let me ask you, where did the idea come from? You're not the wholesaler, you're the warehouse.
No, we're
right?
just a software layer. So we're sort of an Amazon for cannabis. We're the largest sort of virtual marketplace. So we help these businesses basically show their wares to consumers, help them, and then help consumers figure out, how to shop for cannabis based on clinical effect, by strain, by brand. If they want vapes, the cannabis beverages that are coming out. It's basically an Amazon style marketplace, but we actually don't touch anything. We're a NASDAQ publicly listed company. And one of the things that comes with that is we can do software, ones and zeros, but we can't touch the plan.
Let me go through this with you a little bit because people, people my age or older think, wow, cannabis is weed and I'm going to be a hippie. I'm going to be stuck in my basement. I'm going to be eating Doritos. I'm going to be playing video games. What? Explain the difference, THC and cannabis.
Yeah. So look, I was in the same boat. I came from outside of the cannabis world the thing is there's a whole body of research in cannabis. When you actually have fresh cannabis that was not, sort of smuggled across the border from somewhere, has this really wide range of clinical effects based on THC, CBD. There's all these other cannabinoids and terpenes in there, which are effectively these pharmaceutical ingredients. And so, there's weed you can get that will actually make you unable to sleep, suppress your appetite, give you energy. There's been some discussion about that for performance enhancement for long distance runners. There's weed that will, give you that sleepy effect. There's weed that will leave you clear of mind, but completely numb your pain. And so there's this wide range of clinical effects that, people are just starting to study right now. It's really actually a really cool space.
Speaking of studying, the NFL's put some money into this, have they not?
They have. I was really happy to see that. So they put about $1 million into researching cannabis for traumatic brain injury and for pain relief. The funny thing is, and this is one of the things where it's really hard to get cannabis research out. I was at a cannabis medical conference a couple of years ago, and an Israeli researcher, Dr. Meshulam, who's sort of the godfather of cannabis research, he's in his late 80s now. He actually did mouse studies that conclusively proved that cannabis had really strong effects on traumatic brain injury and several other indications. Those studies were done in the early 80s, and he could never get them published. And so it's pretty interesting to see that the NFL is picking up on that, and rightfully so.
The NFL is studying a lot of different things. When you look at cannabis, and it's legal in some states, it's illegal in others, I guess. But why can't cannabis advertise during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, look, the thing is, look, we're ubiquitous. We're in 8 countries around the world. We're in all 37 states that are legal. I think most people don't realize the scale of the cannabis industry at this point. For instance, the Super Bowl is going to be covered in sports gambling ads. Sports betting is only legal in 17 states. Cannabis is legal with Mississippi legalizing last week in 37 states. So I think at this point, the statistic is like 87% of the U.S. population lives in a state where cannabis is legal. So it's ubiquitous. It's here. And whether it be clinical research, the talk about how it can generate jobs and revitalize economies, it's front of mind. And so what better time to talk about it than at the largest sporting event of the year?
Are you allowed to advertise on the Super Bowl?
No. So we made it.
Why not? What's the issue?
Generally, it's broadcast restrictions. So in the past, it's been CBS. This year, it's NBC, where they basically say we do not want this type of content here, which is interesting. We run into the same issues on social media platforms and other things, but in this case, NBC said we are not comfortable doing a Super Bowl ad.
When you've partnered with people, you partnered with Kevin Durant, correct? I mean, let me, again, older people there is a stigma, all right? How important is it Coca-Cola can sell Coca-Cola whether they get Kevin Durant or not. But how important is it to get a Kevin Durant? How important is it to get, an NFL player? How important is it to get other NBA players? How important is it to get athletes to legitimize, I guess, and for lack of a better word, in the public's mind that this is not, hippie grass or whatever the hell people want to call it?
Yeah, look, for us, we have a long history of doing work in the sports space. I mean, we've done stuff with esports. We were sponsors of World Surfing. We've done sponsorship of athletes who have won gold in the X Games. And then, we have this partnership we've done with Kevin Durant and 35 Ventures, which is his VC fund with Rich Kleiman. And so the thing for us is how we bring cannabis, which has been shown to have a huge amount of medicinal impact, and separately, even on the recreational side, it's just here and it's everywhere. It's a lot safer than alcohol. How do we bring it into the normal conversation for exactly the reason you mentioned, which is for older folks who think, well, that just makes you lazy or it makes you stupid or all this other stuff that science has proven isn't the case. You got to bring it to people's living rooms. You got to bring the message to them and sort of say, look, this is a safe, normal product, safer than alcohol. And separately, people are using it for a whole bunch of medicinal stuff. You got that tennis elbow from playing tennis on the weekend, whatever else. Cannabis works great for that.
NFL. Now, there's a difference between researching and getting involved in it. What stage is the NFL in? Is this a very, very preliminary stage? Do you think this is the NFL is the best? I mean, the best at kind of optics, showing something that the political wind blows itself towards. Is this a real deal? Can you see down the line cannabis not only being able to advertise, but cannabis being on the shelves of NFL teams?
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, I think the NBA actually went a step further when they're under the COVID bubble. They basically said, we're not testing for weed, and read into that what you will. But I think there was a reason for them making that decision. I think on the NFL, on the NFL side, I think, look, it's hard to say, but I think $1 million isn't a large amount of money for the NFL. I think it's a good sign. But to me, the big question is, and the one that I assume is going through their head is, what does middle America think if we get involved with this? Separately, I know they have a lot of smart.
What do they think?
What
do they think? What your research?
That's actually pretty easy. Over 70% of the U.S. population, including a majority of both of Republicans, which most people would think this isn't the case, support not just medical cannabis but recreational cannabis. If you look at just medical cannabis, I think about 94% of the U.S. population is in support of cannabis legalization. It's an overwhelmingly popular issue. It's sort of a no-brainer. But I always think when you let kind of the legal and policy wonk people kind of noodle on it too long behind closed doors, you don't always get to the right answer.
You're a publicly traded company. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Weed companies, for lack of a better way to put it, the weed stocks took off, but you have to do them through your E-Trade. You cannot publicly trade it because, what is it, a Schedule I drug? Trump was going to do something about it. Am I right about this?
Yeah, so we're in a different boat because we don't touch the plant. We're a pure software and data company. We do a bunch of software for e-commerce
right.
and delivery logistics and compliance. And so we're in a different boat where we're listed on NASDAQ under the ticker MAPS. But no, for most touch the plant cannabis companies, they cannot be on U.S. exchanges. So you see them out on Canadian stock exchanges. And yeah, you have these restrictions where, potentially E-Trade or Fidelity or other folks aren't going to let you trade those stocks. Again, it's the Schedule I element for the touch the plant businesses.
And that basically, are you involved in lobbying to get Schedule I eliminated on weed?
So we have a really big public policy team, and we do work. A lot of our work is focused on the states. So we've helped write the laws and regulations in a number of states to help them get efficient licensing up and running, to help make sure that they're giving back to communities who are impacted by the war on drugs within that legalization regime. So we have about a 20-person internal policy team. We do some work at the federal level, but just in terms of where we can make the most impact, state and local work, when you think about 37 states and then you need the local governments to say, okay, let's let stores open here, has been the most impactful for us. But we've written a lot of the foundational policy for how the industry is legalized and opened.
Last thing before I let you go, give me the NASDAQ letters so that people have. I got people asking me, hey, I want to be involved.
We're under WM Technology. It's MAPS, MAPS. like weed maps. And yeah, we're NASDAQ listed.
That's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
easy.
We went out. We listed in June of this last year. And yeah, I mean, look, we're over 700 people. About 250 or 300 engineers. So it's we've been growing quickly.
Now, in my state, everybody says Big Pharma doesn't want weed. Like Indiana, we went from we were Quakers. We didn't have booze on Sundays forever. No beer, no alcohol on Sundays. Sports
you're
gambling.
Talking to a Pennsylvania native. You're talking to a Pennsylvania native, so I can sympathize.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went to Penn. You understand. All of a sudden, Indiana is like wide open. We've got 2 blocks from my studio. We've got a sports book. Every Sunday you can buy booze. But let me ask you, we also have Eli Lilly right downtown. I can't imagine that Big Pharma wants a whole lot to do with weed getting really popular or weed becoming legal everywhere. Or am I wrong about that?
No, you're spot on. Listen, legal cannabis estimated to be about a $25 billion industry this last year. And here's the thing that scares the living hell out of pharma and frankly alcohol. In states that have legalized cannabis, the prescription and prescription fill rates for opioids, sleep assistance drugs, things like that have dropped over 10% for each of those categories where cannabis is assumed to have clinical effect. But the scarier thing for the alcohol industry is we've seen hard liquor sales and beer sales drop similarly significantly once states legalize. So a lot of people are saying, I don't want to put on the COVID weight or whatever. I'm going to cut back on how much I drink and substitute it with cannabis and not wake up with a hangover in the morning. And on the medicinal side, it's impacting opioid sales, antidepressant sales, things like that.
Yeah, we'll never see it in Indiana. Although I think cannabis is legal in Indiana.
I think it's low.
Wrong.
I think it's low.
I don't know. CBD.
Yeah, CBD.
CBD is legal.
CBD.
Yeah, there's what's the difference?
So CBD, without going too far into the geek science, CBD is one of the compounds, these sort of cannabinoids they're called, and there's a bunch of them. Not all of them are psychoactive, but it's one that's has some proven effect around reducing pain and inflammation. But frankly, THC, the one that people associate with getting high, there's forms of THC that won't make you high. If you were to eat a nug of weed, it wouldn't make you high because that THC has an acid molecule on it. Again, I won't go too far into the science, but all that to say is, yeah.
Man, that's pretty far for a guy like me.
All I'll say is, look,
that's good.
It's good
though.
For CBD to be really effective, they're finding that you need a little bit of THC to make the CBD effective. That's the sort of take home, and that CBD can be effective for some stuff. It looks like it's a lot more effective if you have some THC with it. And that doesn't mean getting high. It just means it's enough that the two work sort of simpatico.
Chris, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. That's Chris Beals, Weed Maps CEO. There you go. Go to WEE. No, I'm sorry. Go to Maps. Hey, look, this is a growing industry. The NFL is rocking and rolling with it. We appreciate. I like good conversation about things that I don't know nothing about. One of our writers on Outkick says, "Hey, Dan, big weed guy?" I'm not. I've never tried it. I ain't afraid, though. I will try it. Bring me the good stuff. No, I've never tried it. But I'm telling you, as a guy that wakes up in pain all the time, I mean all the time, I got to tell you, man, I'm all in on anything. I'm not going to lie. I am in on whatever the hell it is that y'all want to do. Man, am I. I really am. I got a couple of things for you as we move forward throughout the rest of this show. Number one, let's do this. Let's tell you what to look for this weekend. Now, we're all going to watch the Super Bowl, right? We're all going to watch the damn Super Bowl. We're going to watch the Super Bowl all day, all night. We're not going to stop. We're getting ready at 6:30. Whatever you got to do, you got to do, okay? Whatever. But check this out. Don't forget that Monday, boys and girls, moms and dads, don't forget that Monday is Valentine's Day. I know we're going to get ourselves set up for the weekend. I know we're going to say, hey, the Super Bowl is my weekend. Friday night, I'm doing my thing. Saturday, whatever. But all day Sunday, leave me alone. I've got the Super Bowl. But between now and the Super Bowl, do yourself a favor and remember to go get the dinner reservation. Remember to go get the gift. Remember, please, don't, and I'm not talking about just guys. I mean, we're all into equality. Hey, there ain't nothing a guy likes better than to come out, hey, there's a nice something for him. Get him a little hand shaver. You want a gift idea, ladies? A hand shaver. I should have brought it down here. My mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas. You can get them. You put them in your hand. They got 8 million different things. And instead of having to shave your head and do all that, you just go like that, literally, and it's in your hand. And next thing you know, your head looks as good as mine. I don't know what to tell you. That's a pretty good move. That's a really good move. The old hand shaver. It's a great gift for a guy. Guy don't need chocolates, although he likes them. Don't say, hey, honey, let's not do anything, because that puts pressure on a guy. I'm just telling you. You know what I got my wife for Christmas? And people made fun of me. I'm going to tell you what I got my wife for Christmas. I got her a freaking toolbox. My wife loves to do projects. She is all in on projects. So I got her a toolbox. I'm going to the hardware store tomorrow, not sure when, and I'm going to look, think about this, at a saw. That's right. I'm going to figure out, she doesn't watch this, she's working right now. I'm going to figure out by asking her questions. I'm going to go into the garage. I'm going to hang around her little workspace. And man, what kind of saw you do with this? And I'm going to maybe, just maybe for Valentine's Day, get her a saw. There'll be flowers. Of course there'll be flowers. No candy. Nice dinner. I'll probably make the dinner. But check this out. Make damn sure that you don't forget the Super Bowl. Or excuse me, that you don't forget the damn Valentine's Day. You know how many guys, I wish I could have Lauren come on here, or somebody that is like, big time, their husband, is into the Super Bowl. I'm just telling you. Oh man, I forgot. Don't. You got between today when I'm telling you, and you got between now and Sunday / 5 o'clock. I'll give you one if you got a little money. If your wife likes golf, if she's a golfer, my wife just started playing golf, loves golf. Set up an hour for her and maybe one or two of her golfing friends to go play at a simulator. Go play at a simulator. Why not? That's a nice gift. Look, Valentine's Day is a created thing anyway, but do something creative. Or, just a thought, your wife likes a nice pedi. She's been on your ass to go get a pedicure. I can speak to this from experience. Look, set it up. Go get a nice pedicure. Not the fingers. Pedi is the foot, you dummy. Get yourself a nice pedicure. Get yourself a couple's massage. Get yourself a couple's pedi. I'm telling you. But you're going to forget. And I am here to remind you. I am here to tell you. I am here to help you. Don't forget. You want something else? All right. Here's something else. There's a store. Now, I don't know who we have doing ads for us, but there's a store. It's like an active woman's, like, I don't know, whatever a guy loves. An active woman's sports bar, except they don't have booze. Women love going to a store called Athleta. My wife works there. Women come in and they are so excited because the salespeople there help them get into great clothes that they feel good in and makes them want to get active. Okay? Know your wife's size. Trick her. Know your wife's size. Go to Athleta. If you're in Indy, ask for my wife Lee and get her something that you know she might like from Athleta. I can't do everything for you. I'm sorry. I can't do every damn thing for you. I can try. But the truth of the matter is, these are great gifts. When you give your wife something from Athleta, you know what your wife's going to do? Oh, my God. How did you even know? Most of you slaps don't even know what Athleta is. Most of you slaps got no idea what Athleta is. None. Zero zip. None. N-U-N. She'll be shocked that you know. Her head, this is an old reference. In The Exorcist, Linda Blair's head spun around in a 360. Your wife, her head will spin around in a 360 when you get something from Athleta for her. Don't be that D-bag. Don't be that guy that, oh, I forgot. I was watching the Super Bowl. What the hell? I'm going to make dinner reservations. Shut up. Bah. Don't do it. Don't do it. I've given you bets today. I've given you weed talk today. I've reminded you about Valentine's Day. I've reminded you what gifts to give. I've done all I can do for you this week. Now, here's the deal. Coming up on Monday, we are going to replay the entire Super Bowl. We are going to replay with Urban Meyer everything that's going on. I want this show to be the go-to show. I'm very honest. I don't think we're getting enough views. So I'm going to ask my good folks on the YouTube channel, what do you want to see better out of this show? What guests do you want to see out of this show? ESPN folks ain't coming on Outkick, so eliminate them. Who do you want to see on this show? What can we do to be better? I'm a man of the people. I'm a damn man of the people. And I want everybody to have a absolutely freaking fantastic, not a good, a fantastic Super Bowl weekend. Because it is the Super Bowl weekend. Yes, Indy Jarhead, I'm saving you from yourself. Dan, I've heard of Victoria's Secret. Of course you have, you perv. But I've never heard of Athleta. That's Nick on here. Look at Jennifer. Athleta is the bomb. These are my people on the YouTube chat. Athleta is the bomb. I love that place. That's the only woman on here. All you slaps are like, hey, I took my woman to Sky Zone. What? Sky Zone? You break an ankle. Don't go to Sky Zone. Jennifer, get her a massage gift certificate or even a couple's massage, not a saw. She may use the saw on you. It's true. That's true. Don't take your girlfriend to Sky Zone. What's wrong with you people? Hey, Dan, can we get Big Cat on? Hey, Dan, I want to hear some UFC. Hey, Dan, I want more fades. Hey, Dan, let your wife host and you work the camera. I'll get Leon. I got to do something to get this show going. We used to be at like 60,000 views. So do me a favor, all of you. Go on your social media and retweet this show. I got to bump up the views. Hey, Dan, my wife likes Athleta. Athleta is awesome stuff. Get your wife something from there and good things happen. See, that's what guys are looking. See, it's not about get your wife something from Athleta, Nick. I see what you're doing here because she'll really love it. Hey, good things will happen. Really? All right. Thanks to everybody. It's a good week. Had a little glitches earlier in the week. Maybe that hurt us. Do me a favor, Jennifer and all the rest of you. Go to my freaking social media and retweet our show. Like the actual link. I'm begging here. Hey, I'm going to be on noon to 3 at 107.5 The Fan. I know a lot of you guys are interested. I can't wait. Hope everybody has a great Super Bowl weekend. And please, for the love of all things holy, please don't forget Valentine's Day on Monday, please. I'm helping you out here. See ya.